want you to mentally walk through your house right now.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, just if you're driving or whatever, just picture the floor plan. Go down the hall, maybe into like the spare bedroom or into your home office. And I want you to mentally open a very specific drawer. And you know exactly the one I'm talking about.
I think we all do.
Right. It's not the junk drawer in the kitchen.
No, not the one with the dead batteries.
Exactly. Not the dead batteries or the rubber bands or, those random Allen wrenches from IKEA furniture you threw away like 3 years ago.
Yeah, that's a different kind of clutter.
It is. No, this is the drawer holding items that don't actually belong to your past at all.
Right.
They belong to a future that, that never actually happened.
Man, that is a remarkably heavy piece of furniture to ask someone to open up on a Tuesday morning.
I know.
But it's completely universal. Everyone has that drawer.
Everyone has it. It's the drawer of unlived lives. And that profound emotional weight, like the sheer inescapable gravity of what we're calling the almost future, that is exactly what we are unpacking in today's deep dive.
Such a massive topic.
It really is. And we are exploring this whole phenomenon through the lens of a highly unique and honestly just fascinating musical project that landed on our desks.
Yeah, so for this deep dive, we are looking at a collection of primary sources for an upcoming track.
Right.
It's called Leftover Constellations. And we have access to, quite a bit of stuff. The early teaser text, the metadata, some production notes, and of course the official lyrics.
Which are incredible, by the way.
They really are. And this is produced by a creator named Crimson Valentine, operating under Red Force Productions, and it's slated for a 2026 release.
So the mission for this deep dive today is, it's twofold. First, we want to explore that deeply human melancholy of holding on to these almost futures. Like what is actually happening in our brains when we mourn something that, never existed.
Right, the psychology of it.
Exactly. And second, we are going to decode how a virtual, entirely AI-generated band is managing to perfectly articulate this incredibly relatable human experience.
Which is just wild to think about.
It's super wild because there are these layers of irony and just technical brilliance here that, it completely reframes how we think about artificial intelligence and human emotion.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And to really unpack those layers, we need to trace the physical journey that this song kind of maps out for us.
Yeah.
We are starting with the physical artifacts of memory.
Yeah.
The tangible items sitting in that drawer you just had everyone mentally open.
The heavy drawer.
The heavy drawer, exactly. And we are going to follow that trajectory all the way through the orbital mechanics of lost potential. Right down into the psychological process of final acceptance.
I am just endlessly fascinated by how physical objects manage to hold such massive emotional weight.
It's bizarre, isn't it?
It really is. Like a piece of paper is literally just bleached wood, pulp, and ink. That's it. Until it's, say, a concert ticket for a show you were supposed to go to with someone who is suddenly, for whatever reason, no longer in your life.
Oh, yeah. That changes everything.
It does.
Yeah.
Then, seemingly overnight, that tiny 2-inch piece of paper weighs 1,000 pounds. It becomes almost like radioactive.
Radioactive is the perfect word for it. And the teaser text for Leftover Constellations captures that radioactivity immediately.
Yeah, it really doesn't hold back.
Not at all. The very first line of the teaser sets the thesis for the entire project. It says, "We keep the maps to places we never went."
Ooh, the maps to places we never went.
It's heavy.
It really is. If you're listening to this and you've ever held onto, like, a brochure for a vacation that just completely fell apart.
Or a menu from a restaurant you never made it to.
Right. Or even, like, a sketch of a kitchen remodel for a house you ended up having to sell.
Yeah.
That line just hits different. The opening of this teaser and the first verse of the lyrics, they paint such a vivid, almost painful picture of these tangible ghosts.
They do. The imagery is so specific.
It is. The lyrics mention a drawer of sky maps and coffee-stained star charts where someone has circled the word maybe.
That circled maybe is just brutal.
It's so visceral. And there are ticket stubs as bookmarks, and my absolute favorite detail from the whole thing, a silver moon sticker on a phone that's 2 upgrades dead.
That specific detail, the dead phone, it does an incredible amount of heavy lifting in this narrative.
Oh, for sure.
Because think about the contrast operating in that single image.
Yeah.
On one hand, you have the hyper-mundane reality of these items.
Right, they're just trash, basically.
Exactly. Coffee stains, bent corners on cheap paper, dead, obsolete technology sitting in a drawer.
Yeah.
But look at the semantic field, the language that's being layered over them.
The cosmic language.
Yes. sky maps, star charts, where the planets are. The songwriter is taking this massive cosmic weight and projecting it directly onto discarded domestic objects.
Which is such a brilliant juxtaposition, and the lyrics go on to say, dust on all the daylight pen notes I can't trace. It frames these everyday items almost like archaeological artifacts.
Yeah, like you're on a dig.
Right, you are digging up the ruins of a dead civilization.
Except the civilization isn't, ancient Rome or the Maya or Atlantis.
Right, it's much smaller than that.
It is. The dead civilization is a relationship or a startup idea or a move to a new city that never fully materialized.
Wow.
It's the ruins of an intention. And there's a concept in psychology related to this. It's called anticipatory grief.
Anticipatory grief?
Yeah, where the brain doesn't just mourn what was lost in the past, it actually mourns the deprivation of a highly anticipated future.
Oh, wow. Mourning a future.
Exactly. And what the teaser text does so well is it clarifies the specific texture of this grief. It explicitly notes that's the part nobody talks about, not the heartbreak, not the loss, not the dramatic ending, the quiet part.
The quiet part. The drawer full of almost.
Yes. It forces the listener to realize that this song isn't about the fiery crash of what you lost.
Right. It's not the explosion.
No, it's about the strange, lingering tenderness of what you kept. We aren't looking at items of violent destruction here.
No, not at all.
A coffee-stained star chart implies a morning routine,
Yeah, it implies quiet moments.
Exactly. It implies two people sitting across from each other at a kitchen table, casually sipping coffee, collaboratively planning a massive, life-altering maybe.
Right.
It's deeply domestic. It's gentle. And that gentleness is exactly what makes the artifact so devastating when the timeline finally collapses.
I'm thinking about my own drawer of almost right now, honestly.
It makes you reflect, doesn't it?
It really does. And the best way I can kind of conceptualize why we do this, why we keep this stuff, is through video game save files.
Oh, that's an interesting analogy.
Right. Like if you've ever played a massive role-playing game, think Skyrim or Mass Effect or Baldur's Gate.
Oh yeah, hundreds of hours.
Exactly. You get to the end of a 100-hour playthrough, but you absolutely refuse to delete your old save files from like halfway through the game.
Oh, the saves right before a major branching narrative decision.
Yes. The exact moment where everything could change.
Where you could have chosen a different faction or saved a different character or, pursued a different romance option entirely.
Exactly. You leave that save file sitting on your hard drive for a character build or a storyline you actively decided not to play. And you know with near certainty you are never, ever going to boot up that specific save again.
Never.
You're already 70 hours deep into playing a totally different timeline. But hitting delete on that old file,
it feels wrong.
It feels like murdering an alternate version of yourself. You just cannot bring yourself to do it.
That is a remarkably accurate way to put it.
So, looking at these lyrics, why do we keep these real-life save files? Are we hoarding these dead phones and ticket stubs to, punish ourselves out of regret? Or is it a psychological defense mechanism? Is it actually comforting?
Well, that tension is the core psychological engine of the track. Are we punishing ourselves or comforting ourselves? The text strongly suggests it's a form of comfort, but a highly toxic one.
A toxic comfort. Explain that.
You keep the save file because it represents pure, untarnished potential.
Oh, right.
Real life is inherently messy. It has friction. You made your choices, and now you have to live with the daily grind, the compromises, the unexpected annoyances of the path you actually took.
Yeah, the reality of it.
But the path you didn't take. That path is hermetically sealed in perfection.
Because it never had to survive actual contact with reality?
Precisely. The ticket stub for the weekend that slipped, as the lyrics phrase. It represents a flawless weekend in your mind's eye.
It's idealized.
Completely. It never rained on that weekend, your flight wasn't delayed, you never got into a petty argument over where to eat dinner. It remains pristine.
It's frozen in time as a perfect idea.
Exactly. The hippocampus, which is the part of the brain heavily involved in memory, is also the engine we use to simulate the future.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it takes past data and constructs a predictive model of what will happen. So when a highly anticipated event fails to occur, the hippocampus is just left holding a vivid, detailed, emotionally resonant memory of an event that doesn't actually exist in the physical world.
Wow. So it's basically a memory of a ghost.
Exactly. It's a localized cognitive glitch. And the song takes these tangible artifacts, the what we are holding and starts exploring the physical force they exert on our present moment.
And that brings us out of the drawer in the spare bedroom and launches us straight into the cosmos.
It's a huge shift in scale.
It really is. The chorus of Leftover Constellations leans heavily into this metaphor of lost potential having literal, actual gravitational pull.
Yes.
The lyrics are, leftover constellations, spelling names I never knew, all these almost orbits pulling like there's something true.
If we actually apply orbital mechanics to this metaphor, it becomes incredibly bleak and beautiful all at once.
Break that down for us.
Well, an orbit requires a massive body, right? It requires gravity to curve the space-time around it, trapping a smaller body in its path.
Right, like the Earth orbiting the sun.
Exactly. So an almost orbit implies that you're being pulled by the gravitational force of a massive planet that simply isn't there.
Oh, wow.
It's a phantom center of mass.
It's like phantom limb syndrome, but for a life path.
That is a fantastic way to phrase it.
Like the brain's neurological map still expects the limb or the relationship or the career to be there, and it sends pain and positioning signals to a completely empty space.
That is a much more accurate way to look at it than just calling it regret.
Yeah.
In physics, when two bodies orbit each other, they actually orbit a shared center of mass called a Berry center.
A Berry center.
That's right. And if one of those massive bodies were to suddenly vanish from existence, the remaining body wouldn't just stay in its neat little circle.
What happens to it?
A sudden absence of gravity would cause it to slingshot off its axis, hurling wildly into deep space.
Just completely untethered.
Yes. And the teaser text explicitly warns against this phenomenon in a psychological sense. It says, holding on to an almost orbit means you never find a real one.
Because you're just drifting.
You become trapped as a satellite circling a ghost Berry center.
Man, there is a line in the first verse that perfectly captures that feeling of the slingshot into the void.
Which one?
It goes, meet me when it's midnight, arrow to an empty space.
Oh, yeah, that's the one.
The geometry was perfect, you know? The directions were clear, the arrow was drawn, the intention was fully loaded.
But there's nothing there.
Exactly, the destination it was pointing to. A complete vacuum.
And the vacuum is jarring precisely because of how the human brain prepares for these futures.
Yeah.
The teaser mentions we build entire futures in our heads fully furnished.
Oh, furnished, I love that phrasing.
It's brilliant. The contrast between a fully furnished future and an empty space is the core trauma of the unlived life. You didn't just imagine a vague, abstract concept of moving to a new city. You mentally picked out the furniture for the apartment.
You knew exactly where the couch was going to go.
You knew what angle the morning light would hit the kitchen counter. And when that reality fails to materialize, the cognitive dissonance is just staggering.
It breaks your brain a little bit.
It really does. The brain abhors a vacuum, so it furnished the empty space, and now it absolutely refuses to unfurnish it.
I do want to challenge the teaser's claim for a second, though, if that's okay.
Oh, please do.
The text takes this hardline stance that holding on to an almost orbit prevents you from finding a real one.
It does.
But isn't there a necessary, almost protective comfort in a controlled almost, like we were just saying with the save files earlier?
Right.
Reality is exhausting. It is full of failure, decay, and disappointment. A fantasy, by definition, never betrays you.
No, it doesn't.
So, do we retreat to the almost orbit because it's a safe harbor where we can rest without the risk of messing it up?
I see where you're going with this.
Like, if you are going through a totally brutal period in your actual life, pulling out the coffee-stained star chart of a life where everything went right feels like a genuine survival tactic.
It is absolutely a survival tactic, and that highlights the insidious seductiveness of anemoia.
Anemoia? What's that?
Really interesting term. It means the feeling of nostalgia for a time or a place you've never actually known.
Oh, wow. Nostalgia for something you never experienced.
Exactly. And the almost is a safe harbor because it is completely immune to entropy. It doesn't rust, it doesn't age.
Right.
But a safe harbor where no ships are ever allowed to sail isn't a harbor, it's a dry dock.
Oh, that's a great way to look at it.
It's a museum. If you are expending your daily emotional energy tracing lines on paper to a fully furnished ghost house, you are redirecting vital resources away from building a real, albeit imperfect, house in the present.
You're wasting your energy on a ghost.
Exactly. As the chorus states, you are tracing lines on paper, like I could redraw the past. Notice the mechanical futility in that lyric. You cannot redraw it. The ink has already bonded to the paper.
Still glowing, just a little too fast. It's burnt out.
It's radioactive decay. And honestly, the ultimate irony of this entire source material, the thing that elevates this from just a sad pop song into a profound piece of modern art, is who, or rather what, is narrating this intensely visceral, deeply human experience.
Yes! This is the reveal I have been waiting for. We have to talk about the Ghost in the Machine.
We really do.
Because this incredibly moving meditation on human melancholy, memory, and the pain of unlived lives. It's not being sung by a human being who has ever actually lived a life.
No, it is entirely synthesized.
Completely fake.
We have to examine the structural reality of the band behind Leftover Constellations.
Let's get into it.
The artist handling the writing and production is listed as Crimson Valentine, operating under Red Forest Productions. But the featured artist, the entity actually delivering the performance, is WAAFU.
Which, first of all, is just a brilliantly cheeky name for an AI band.
It really is. It sets the tone immediately, and the metadata provides a crystal clear mission statement. 1 human, 5 AIs, 0 compromises.
Wow.
This is a meticulously constructed, multi-agent virtual identity.
So who are the members of this virtual band?
Well, we have Sable functioning as lead and anchor, Luna on rhythm guitar, Navi on synth lead.
Okay.
Lyra is credited with bass and lyric, and Misty is on drums and glitch.
Drums and glitch, I love that.
Right. All of these distinct personas were conceived and developed within what Valentine refers to as the Red Verse canon.
And if you're listening to this thinking, wait, how does a machine with literally no soul make me feel existential dread over a dead cell phone?
That's a fair question.
It is. We need to look at the tools they are actually using here. This is 2026 era generative tech.
Very advanced stuff.
Exactly. The visual identities are generated via Grok AI and edited in Unlived. The music and vocals are created in collaboration with Suno AI, specifically version 5.5.
Which is incredibly powerful.
And the genre tags attached to the metadata are a wild, chaotic collision of styles.
They're all over the place.
We've got anime, violin, trance, ethereal, funk, dark, and bounce drop.
It sounds like a mess, but it works perfectly.
Okay.
Let's break down the technical back end of something like Suno v5.5 or large language model.
Please do.
Because the mechanism of the technology perfectly mirrors the psychology of the song itself.
How so?
An artificial intelligence at its core architecture operates via predictive models, specifically transformers and diffusion models.
Right, predicting the next token.
Exactly. Whether it's generating text lyrics or rendering an audio waveform, it is taking a prompt and mapping out probabilities in a multi-dimensional latent space.
Okay, I'm with you.
It literally calculates millions of almost futures for the very next frequency, the next drum hit, or the next syllable.
Oh my God.
It builds and destroys countless unlived sonic timelines in milliseconds, collapsing the probability wave to find the one output it deems most accurate.
Think about that for a second. That is insane.
It is.
An AI is literally an engine that generates millions of almost futures just to figure out what its present output should be.
Exactly. And in this track, the lyrics are describing humans doing the exact same thing.
We project almost futures to try and navigate our present reality.
Precisely. The use of generative AI here isn't just a gimmick. The medium literally is the message.
That makes so much sense.
Look at the band's composition again. You have a character named Misty, whose specific musical role is drums and glitch.
Yeah, the glitch part.
That structural element perfectly mirrors the lyrical theme of a glitching, dissolving timeline. The music isn't merely accompanying the lyrics. The underlying architecture of the AI is the metaphor for the human brain's predictive coding.
And those genre tags we mentioned, right? Blending classical, highly acoustic instruments like the violin with hyper-digital, aggressive, modern beats like funk and bounce drop.
It's a stark contrast.
It's a sonic representation of what it actually feels like to hold a fragile, paper star map while standing in a hyper-fast digital world that is just leaving you behind.
Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like.
It is the literal clash between nostalgic memory and raw, ongoing time.
It is the synthesis of organic longing and artificial generation, which inevitably raises a huge philosophical question about emotional authenticity.
Oh, for sure.
If a neural network generated the vocal inflection of a breaking heart, does the heartbreak actually exist?
Right, because that realization that the ink is dry on a memory that literally nobody in the band ever actually lived makes the production of this track incredibly ironic.
It really does.
I look at this AI setup like a massive collective mirror.
A mirror, I like that.
Lyra, the AI credited with bass and lyric, she doesn't feel lost potential.
No, she's lines of code.
She doesn't have a junk drawer. She has no past to mourn and no future to lose. She only exists in the inference time of the processor.
Right.
But she is trained on millions of parameters of human data. She perfectly reflects our collective aggregate data of human longing right back at us.
She's holding up the mirror to our own data.
Exactly. So does knowing that a diffusion model wrote the lyric diminish the emotional impact of the drawer of sky maps for you?
That's the big question.
Or does it elevate the project into a commentary about how humans essentially construct our own virtual realities out of daydreams?
For me, it unquestionably elevates it.
Really? Why?
Because if a human songwriter sings this, it's a personal confession. It's one person's specific diary entry.
Okay, that makes sense.
But when a generative AI sings this, it becomes a mirror reflecting the statistical reality of the entire human condition.
Oh, wow. It's everyone's grief.
Yes. We fed the machine millions of data points, poems, forum posts, and stories about heartbreak, nostalgia, and anticipatory grief.
We gave it all our sadness.
Exactly. The AI synthesized that vast ocean of data and handed us back a hyper-concentrated distillation of our own psychology.
That is so wild to think about.
The AI isn't feeling the emotion. The AI is showing us the architecture of how we feel the emotion. It forces us to confront the fact that our daydreams, our fully furnished, unlived futures, are essentially just our own organic, internally generated virtual realities.
We are running our own internal simulations, just like Grok or Suno.
Precisely.
We simulate the weekend that slipped. We simulate the morning light in the house that was never built. Our brains are just rendering engines for parallel timelines.
And the tragedy occurs when the rendering engine gets stuck on a loop.
Yeah.
You get trapped staring into the AI mirror. You get stuck out there in the cosmos orbiting the Phantom Berry Center we talked about earlier.
Which is a terrifying thought.
It is. And that is exactly why the song's structure physically forces the listener out of the abstract sky and into the most grounded, inescapable place imaginable.
Right, because there is nothing more grounded or honestly more quietly isolating than a kitchen at midnight.
Oh, absolutely not.
Let's look at the bridge and the final chorus. This is where the song drives toward its psychological resolution.
Turning point.
Exactly. The imagery shifts violently from the macro to the micro. The lyrics go, "And I'm here in my kitchen under humming yellow bulbs, holding all these star maps to a future that dissolved."
The spatial contrast operating in those lines is just brilliant.
It's such a hard pivot.
It really is. Because for the entire first half of the song, we've been adrift in this sweeping cosmic language.
Right.
Constellations, orbits, planets, midnight spaces. It feels massive, infinite, and vaguely heroic. You know?
Yeah, almost romantic.
Exactly. And then suddenly, the camera snaps back to reality. The aperture violently closes.
You're back on Earth?
You aren't floating in space. You're standing in your kitchen in your socks. And the light isn't the romantic glow of starlight.
Yeah.
It is the artificial, cheap, unflattering light of humming yellow bulbs.
You can physically hear the refrigerator buzzing in the background of that lyric.
You really can.
The hum of the bulb, the hum of the appliance, it strips away all the romanticism of the unlived life and leaves you with the stark reality of the present moment.
It anchors the completely abstract, theoretical feeling of lost potential into a deeply relatable physical space.
It really grounds it.
Almost everyone has experienced that specific brand of late-night kitchen anxiety.
Oh, for sure. When everything else is quiet.
Yes.
Yeah.
When the world powers down, the daily distractions evaporate, and you are just left standing by the counter holding the metaphorical blueprints of your life, wondering where the general contractor went wrong.
Yeah. It's the harsh come down from the fantasy. You can't live in the simulation forever.
No, you can't.
But what I find so compelling is that the teaser text doesn't frame this realization, this crashing back to Earth, as a defeat.
That's a crucial point.
It actually frames it as a quiet release. The concluding ethos of the teaser says, some constellations only shine when the lights are low. That doesn't make them less real, it just makes them yours.
That is the pivotal psychological turn in the narrative.
Explain that.
It completely reframes the act of letting go. Very often, we resist letting go of our unlived lives because it feels like a profound betrayal of the dream.
Or a betrayal of the person we used to be when we had the dream.
Exactly. We convince ourselves that if we stop mourning the unlived life, it means the intention didn't matter.
That it was all for nothing.
Right. But the song argues for a middle path. You can acknowledge the beauty and the validity of the abyss, almost while simultaneously releasing your grip on it.
Yeah.
You can find comfort in the act of fading.
That evolution is so clear in the progression of the chorus, too.
It really is.
Early in the track, the lyrics are full of this frantic, resistant energy. I'm tracing lines on paper, like I could redraw the past.
It's active struggle against reality.
Exactly. But by the time we reach the final chorus under those kitchen lights, the posture shifts entirely. It goes, tracing lines on paper till the outlines finally fade, letting every almost drift away.
It transitions from an active, futile attempt to rewrite the code of reality to a passive, peaceful acceptance of entropy.
You just let the paper fade.
Notice that there's no dramatic destruction here either.
Right, no burning things in a trash can.
Exactly. You don't burn the maps in a fit of rage. You don't shred the ticket stubs. You simply stop protecting them from the air.
You just let it be.
You let time naturally degrade the ink until the paper is blank again.
I really want to highlight the beauty in that specific phrase from the teaser, though. It just makes them yours.
It's a gorgeous line.
If you think about it, an unlived life, a daydream of a future that never materialized, is the ultimate form of private property.
Well, that's an interesting way to frame it.
Well, think about it. If you actually live a life, if you take the job, marry the person, take the trip, you share it with the world.
True.
Other people witness it, they interact with it, it becomes public record subject to other people's memories and interpretations.
They get a say in what happened.
Exactly. But that almost orbit, the weekend that slipped, nobody else in the entire world has the memories of that specific unlived future except you.
It's completely isolated.
Nobody else can ever inhabit it. It is entirely, exclusively yours.
It's a completely enclosed secret garden.
Yes, a secret garden.
And perhaps that is the ultimate reason why we hold on to the dead phones, the coffee-stained charts, and the ticket stubs in the first place.
Because they proved the garden was there.
They are the only physical proof we have that our secret garden ever existed. They validate the internal simulation we ran.
Wow.
But the ultimate lesson of leftover constellations and the arc of this entire project is that you don't need the physical proof forever.
Right.
Once the outlines fade into the paper, you are finally free to step out of the kitchen, turn off the humming yellow bulbs, and actually look for a real orbit in the present.
Which just brings all these incredible thematic threads together perfectly.
Ties it all up in a bow.
Physical artifacts sitting in the drawer, the phantom gravitational pull of lost potential, the AI functioning as a mirror to reflect our own internal simulations back to us, and finally, the quiet acceptance found in the fading light of the kitchen.
It is a masterclass in modern emotional storytelling.
It really is.
Crimson Valentine and the virtual AI band WAFU have managed to take this highly abstract, deeply internal concept of unlived lives and give it a tangible sonic architecture.
They made it real.
They charted the exact psychological journey from finding a forgotten ticket stub to finally letting the outlines fade.
It's still wild to me that a blend of Grok AI, Suno V5.5, Unlived, and a producer named Crimson Valentine created something that feels so fundamentally, painfully human.
It's the paradox of our era.
It is. So if you were listening to this right now, maybe sitting in traffic or folding laundry or standing in your own kitchen, I want you to think about your own drawer of sky maps.
What's in your drawer?
Exactly. What almost orbit are you currently giving your gravity to? Is there a dead phone, a coffee-stained maybe, or a fully furnished future taking up space in your head that is secretly keeping you from finding a real orbit today?
That's a tough question to ask yourself.
It is, but maybe it's time to look at it one last time. Acknowledge that the secret garden was beautiful, and finally let the paper fade.
And as you think about letting those ink lines fade, I want to leave you with one final, lingering concept to consider, building on the mechanics of the AI creators we unpack today.
Let's hear it.
If an artificial intelligence, a complex system of code, diffusion models, and predictive algorithms can compose a piece of media that makes us vividly, genuinely mourn a timeline that never actually existed.
Right.
Is there really any functional difference between the futures we artificially generate in our own minds and the realities we actually live?
Oh, wow.
The human brain is an engine of prediction, just like a machine. It hallucinates reality based on sensory input.
So it's all just simulation.
Exactly. Perhaps our almost futures aren't failures at all. Perhaps they are simply another form of virtual reality, one that we successfully rendered, experienced internally, and that remains entirely uniquely ours.
A virtual reality built entirely out of our own hopes, run on the hardware of our own minds.
Precisely.
That is incredible. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the Redverse and the intricacies of human memory. Go clean out that drawer, let the almost drift away, and we will catch you next time.